everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Leandra the TBR0, and today we're going to be covering my most anticipated releases for quarter 2 in 2025. Those are mysteries that are going to be published in April, May, and June. I've got 20 on this list. The first 10 that I'll be covering are books that I find intriguing, but I'm likely not going to see myself going to the library, going to the bookstore on release day, and adding them to my TBR. But I do think that many of you would like to know that these books are coming out so that you can do that if they're ones that you're most interested in. The latter 10 I bring up are my personal most anticipated releases, the ones that I am determined to read in the next couple months, and I'm really hoping that I can eventually come back to you and confirm that yes, they were great, and I'm so glad I actually dedicated time to reading them. But let's turn our attentions to my 10 honorable mentions. The first one is To Catch a Spy by Mark O'Neill. This comes out on the 1st of April through Poison Pen Press. And what's most intriguing about this is that it's a sequel to the Academy Award-winning film To Catch a Thief. I know a lot of you would be excited, those who are Hitchcock fans. For myself, I just found this very serendipitous because I'm currently reading The Hitchcock Hotel with Danny Dabbles for our podcast, Not Reading for Content. The only problem is, I've never seen To Catch a Thief, so I don't see myself really gravitating toward this title until I do that first, and who knows when that's going to happen. But if you're a huge Hitchcock fan, if you're a huge fan of To Catch a Thief, then add this sequel onto your list of something that you should be reading in the next month. In the same vein, we have The Gatsby Gambit. This is by Claire Anderson Wheeler. It also comes out on the 1st through Viking, and this is yet another reimagining, retelling, and extension from a classic work, but obviously the classic work this time is The Great Gatsby, and I'm just not a huge fan of that classic. I'm not a fan of most classics, if we're going to be honest, but I just found all of the characters to be insufferable, even though the tagline for this is America's most beloved literary characters. I beg to differ. I do love the idea of a golden age mystery, though. This is set in the Roaring 20s, which would be really rich and lovely. However, I just don't see myself really prioritizing it, even though I will tell you, the Amateur Sleuth is not any character that we know. It's Greta Gatsby, the younger sister of the infamous Jay. So that could be really fun, a subversion on the original tale, and I've been known to enjoy that. I mean, The Murder of Mr. Wickham follows two descendants of the Jane Austen canon, and they're delightful. My next batch of honorable mentions are all titles that are sequels within a series. I just haven't started the series yet, and so I'm on the fence on whether I should actually call it an anticipated release. The first one we'll talk about is The Spirit Moves by Carol J. Perry. I just love the idea of a cozy paranormal mystery, and that is exactly what this is. It's the 4th book in a Haunted Haven mystery series, and actually, all of the previous books, to my knowledge, are available on Hoopla. They should be if you're someone who has a library that provides you with a Hoopla subscription. This one comes out on the 27th of May through Kensington Publishing, and it says, innkeeper Maureen Doherty is well aware that no one, when asked why they come to Florida, says for the ghosts. But her historic Haven House Inn has spirits to spare, and just when she thinks she's met every ghost in town, a new one pops up to help solve a murder, or so it seems. It just seems really cute, but like I said, my plan is to start with book 1, and I just don't know when that's gonna happen. Ooh, this is another one that looks great. Big Bad Wool by Leonie Swan. This is the 2nd book in a sheep detective story. It comes out on the 6th of May through Soho Press, and I currently have the 1st book borrowed from the library. In the highly anticipated follow-up to the breakout offbeat hit 3 Bags Full, an enterprising flock of sheep must get to the bottom of just who or what is leaving a trail of grisly destruction in its wake. Literally, if I'm understanding correctly, the sheep are the detectives. So we have some anthropomorphism going on, but I want to start on the 1st one, especially because I have it borrowed from the library. So stay tuned. 3 Bags Full. I'll let you know what I think and if we all should jump on the bandwagon to read book 2 ASAP. Marble Hall Murders by Anthony Horowitz. This comes out on the 13th of May through Harper, and obviously this is a well-known author. It's an anticipated release for quite a few people. It's just that I haven't continued the series since last summer when I read Magpie Murders. I really enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure I gave it 4 stars if memory serves, but I want to continue with the series in order. I typically don't feel that way, but I think with every passing year, series readers have been forcing me into this box, and now I understand, I suppose, or maybe I'm being forced into wanting to read books in order. So here we are. I probably won't read this. I still need to read Moonflower Murders, and I don't know when that's going to happen. And for the exact same reason, I'm not exactly anticipating the Silversmith's Puzzle by Nev March. This comes out on the 13th of May through Minotaur Books, and it's part of a series that I have actually started. I've read the first 2 books, but I haven't read the 3rd one, and that's mainly because all of us were boycotting St. Martin's Press for good reason. This is a part of the Captain Jim Agnihotri and Lady Diana Framji series. It's really lovely, actually, and the first book is Murder in Old Bombay, if you wanted to start at the very beginning. Like I said, though, I haven't read the 3rd book. I'm pretty sure it's called The Spanish Diplomat's Promise, something to that effect, and I actually have that from NetGalley. I just never got to it because I wasn't reading books from St. Martin's Press, and now I don't know when I'm actually going to get to it. The Potency of Ungovernable Impulses by Melka Older. Honestly, this series always has the hardest titles to be able to wrap my brain around, but I kind of love it. This comes out of Tor Publishing, and it's scheduled for a June 10th release date. This is the 3rd book in the Mossa and Plady mystery series. I say it's a mystery series, and it is, but it also is sci-fi, it's also romance, and they're all novellas. So they're cramming all of that into this one very small storyline every single time. That's partially why I'm not highly anticipating this 3rd book, even though if I end up having access to it, I could see myself reading it pretty soon. I just would be borrowing it from the library because I'm never fully satisfied by the series, even though so many people absolutely adore it. It's also a Sherlockian reimagining, which definitely makes people excited too, and it's partially why I just see myself gravitating towards it every single time. So like I said, even though I didn't absolutely adore the first 2 books, I do see myself reading the 3rd one. I'm just worried it's going to be another kind of 3-star range book for me, and you know, that's okay, but it's not the ideal situation. How to Seal Your Own Fate by Kristen Perrin. This is the 2nd book in the Castle Knoll Files series. The first one honestly made such a big splash last year with How to Solve Your Own Murder. A lot of people loved it. It made the Goodreads Choice Awards. For me, it was just middle of the road. I think I gave it a kind 3.5 stars when I buddy read it with Nell and Danny. I don't know if we want to read this again. Maybe we could do another buddy read between the 3 of us, but that probably would be the only reason why I actually pick up this title, because like I said, I wasn't that impressed by my first read with this author. Kristen Perrin is back with the 2nd novel in her Castle Knoll series. Annie Adams is caught in a new web of murder that spans decades, returning to the idyllic English village that holds layers of secrets. So for those of you who absolutely adored How to Solve Your Own Murder, that's why I put it on this list, because I'm sure quite a few of you are excited about it. And it comes out on the 29th of April from Dutton. Slaying You by Michelle Gagnon. This comes out on the 13th of May through G.P. Putnam Sons. And I don't know why, but I kind of am anticipating this. I ended up reading the first book in this series, Killing Me. It's definitely more thriller than it is mystery. That's also why I wasn't super confident about adding it to my top 10. Also, I gave Killing Me 3 stars. I realized that after reading that book, however many years ago at this point, I still think about it. I think about it quite a bit, which is crazy. So it might just be one of those palate cleansers that would still be really fun for me to read. But like I said, it's nothing special. It's very humorous and kind of crazy. We're dealing with a serial killer as well, which definitely leans more thriller than it does mystery. But I can't help but anticipate it. A wildly funny thriller about reluctant partners who hit the danger jackpot when they discover that a serial killer is on their heels, ... again. So if you loved Killing Me, just so you know, this next book is coming out very soon, Slaying You, and I may be reading it with you. I don't know. I'm still on the fence, but I think it's a title that has stuck with me for so long that maybe I really should just give the 2nd book a shot. And then rounding out my 10 honorable mentions, we have The Maid's Secret by Nita Prose. This is another book that I just think a lot of people are going to be anticipating because the first 2 books in this series have been really well loved, have both made the Goodreads Choice Awards. The first book, The Maid, I'm pretty sure won the year that it came out. And so I totally understand why people would be really hyped about this. For me, I'm starting to lose my love of this series. The first book really impressed me. I ended up crying at the end. I gave it 4.25 stars. I'm pretty sure I gave the 2nd book, The Mystery Guest, 4 stars as well, but I don't know. It just felt too much like a copy and paste, and the novelty of it all wore off. So I'm hesitant to try this series again if it's just gonna start feeling like the same narrative over and over again. I will say this time around, it says it's a heist a wedding, and a secret. So there's a lot changing. I just don't know if it's going to be changes I actually enjoy. When a daring art heist takes place at the Regency Grand, Molly's life is threatened. The question is, who's out to get her and why? Long-buried secrets will be revealed in this intriguing and heartwarming novel from the #1 New York Times bestselling author Nita Prose. And this comes out on the 8th of April through Ballantine. And now it's time for me to provide my most anticipated books, the 10 that I truly do hope to read in the next few months. Starting off this great list is A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. It's the second book in the Anna and Din mystery series, the first one being The Tainted Cup, one of my favorite books of last year. I honestly don't want to read the synopsis because I want to enter blind. I do have an arc, and I plan on reading this book this month with Julie from Keep Calm with Books and Coffee and Danny Dabbles, and so I'll be reading it soon, and I really hope that you all are as excited as I am. It's going to come out on the 1st of April, and it's also coming out of Del Rey, so be sure to get your borrows in ASAP or start pre-ordering this book because it's bound to be a great follow-up to The Tainted Cup. For those who don't know, this is a Sherlockian reimagining that also has a fantasy world as its backdrop. It's intricate. There's a lot of discussions of empire, of knowing who to trust, and also just some really interesting magic that has some scientific systems behind it, and it's chef's kiss. Another title that's coming out on the 1st of April is 10 Marchfield Square by Nicola White. Honestly, it's the synopsis, it's the premise that really got me. I will say that there's a couple things that I'm kind of like, I don't know if the marketing is as accurate as it should be, but without further ado, let me read this to you. The Paris apartment meets Only Murders in the Building in this debut murder mystery with an intriguing cast of characters inhabiting a quirky block of flats in modern-day London. When a minor criminal is murdered in the smallest residential square in London, elderly heiress and landlady Celeste Van Duren recruits 2 of her tenants to investigate. Her cleaner Audrey knows everyone and is liked by all, while failed writer Lewis is known by no one. He hates his job, hates his life, and he's not that fond of Audrey either, but Celeste is persuasive. As they hunt for clues in and around the square, they discover everyone has something to hide, including their fellow residents. Audrey and Lewis must find a way to work together if they're to find the killer in their midst, assuming, of course, there's just one. It's described as a cozy crime, and I totally see the comparisons to Only Murders in the Building. I will say that the Paris apartment may be a stretch, especially because when it comes to Lucy Foley's canon, I've heard that leans far closer to a thriller, and that's not the vibe I got from this premise. I also just love the cover and the fact that the title is A Simple Address. It seems like it's going to be a really fun time. Coming out on the 8th of April through Dutton, we have This Is Not a Game by Kelly Mullen. It's honestly another great cover, but this time it's a locked room mystery that involves a grandmother and granddaughter working together to solve a crime, and I think that would be really adorable. A unique locked room debut with a memorable intergenerational relationship and gaming angle about a grandmother and a granddaughter who are snowed in at a lavish party at a mansion where the host has been murdered, and the unlikely sleuthing pair must draw on a unique skill set to navigate a dangerous game together. I won't read further because I want to enter it slightly blind, but doesn't that sound really charming? And I love the idea of this happening at a lavish party. It's a closed group of suspects as well, and there's a storm because everyone's snowed in, so you know that you are basically locked inside this mansion with a murderer who may strike again. Last Chance to Save the World by Beth Revis. This comes out on the 8th of April through DAW, and I'm not gonna lie, I am so highly anticipating this 3rd and final installment in the Chaotic Orbit series. I cannot speak enough about it. This is also a bit of a genre blend. Not only is it a sci-fi heist, but it also is a romance, and I will say that this is probably the least like a mystery compared to anything else I have on this list, but you know what, we're gonna go with it anyways. The explosive, satisfying conclusion to the Chaotic Orbits novella trilogy sees Ada and Ryan breaking into a high security facility to give Earth a fighting chance at survival. Sexy, fast, fun, and funny, this happily ever after ending is perfect for fans of the Murderbot novels and the Wayfarer series. Oh my gosh! So I am still working my way through the Murderbot novels. but I haven't necessarily started Becky Chambers' Wayfarer series. I'm pretty sure that series is by her. With that said, I actually adore Monk and Robot. So I feel as though, obviously, this is a series for me. I also really enjoyed books 1 and 2. I gave both of them 4 stars or higher, like I was in the 4-star range. And it just is, it's a really fun novel that still ends up hitting some really hard-hitting subjects like environmentalism, the climate crisis, and also our main character is just so smart. She impresses me every single time I follow her. And for those who are on the fence about this enemies to lovers romance, it is a slow burn and it's not spicy. It's not necessarily closed door. The couple does kiss, but that's really all that I've seen thus far, and I can't imagine it would escalate to crazy heights in this final book. The Black Swan Mystery by Tetsuya Ayakawa. This comes out on the 3rd of June through Pushkin Vertigo, and I am just obsessed with this cover. It's a Japanese translation. Pushkin is known for doing that quite a bit, especially when it comes to Japanese crime novels, and this one just sounds right up my alley. The Japanese crime fiction classic, a prize-winning railway murder mystery set in 1960s Japan for fans of Agatha Christie and Seiichi Matsumoto. Full of devious twists and turns, this brilliant puzzle mystery is considered to be one of the greatest alibi deconstruction mysteries ever written. Yeah, honestly, it sounds great. You know, if you know me, that I love railway murder mysteries, and honestly, anything that's compared to Agatha Christie is something that I'm willing to try. Continuing with Japanese translations, we have Strange Houses by Uketsu. This comes out on the 3rd of June as well through Harper Via, and it says that it's from the best-selling author of the wildly inventive Strange Pictures and a Phenomenon in Japan. Unnatural layouts, trapdoors, windowless rooms. A sinister conspiracy is concealed within a house's warped and unsettling floor plans. I beg your pardon? When a writer fascinated by the macabre is approached by an acquaintance, he finds himself investigating an eerie house for sale in Tokyo. At first, with its bright and spacious interior, it seems the perfect first home. But upon closer inspection, the building's floor plans reveal a mysterious dead space hidden between its walls. Seeking a second opinion, the writer shares the floor plans with his friend Kurahara, an architect, only to discover more unnerving details throughout. What is the true purpose behind the house's disturbing design? And what happened to the former owners who disappeared without a trace? When a body suddenly appears and a young woman reaches out about a second house, it soon becomes clear that the writer and his friend may be in over their heads. Structured around a series of chilling floor plans with strange houses, mystery horror YouTube sensation Uketsu casts readers in the role of detective, inviting them to help map out the truth hidden within these puzzling floor plans and the terrifying plot behind it all. What? Wait, is Uketsu a YouTuber? I might actually have to do more research, but that is even more intriguing. What made me most interested is the fact that this is deemed a mystery horror, and I don't think we see that genre blend very often. A Murder for Miss Hortense by Mel Pennant. This comes out on the 10th of June through Pantheon, and I do love the cover. It's very simple, but it immediately attracted me, and here is the synopsis. In Biggleswade, old people are starting to die. Retired nurse, avid gardener, and renowned cake maker, Miss Hortense has lived in Biggleswade, a quiet suburb of Birmingham, England, since she emigrated from Jamaica in 1960. She takes great pride in her home, starching her lace curtains bright white, and she can tell if she's being shortchanged on turmeric before she's taken her first bite of a beef patty. 35 years of nursing have also left her afraid of nobody, whether a local drug dealer or an interfering priest, and she's an expert in deciphering other people's secrets with just a glance. Miss Hortense used to use her skills to benefit the Partner Network, a local group of Black investors that she helped found. That is, until she was unceremoniously ousted from its ranks, severing her ties to the majority of her friends and community. That was 30 years ago. Now, as a new millennium dawns, an unidentified man has been found dead in one of the partner members' homes, a Bible quote noted down beside his body. Suddenly, Miss Hortense finds her long-buried past rushing back, bringing memories of the worst moment of her life and secrets behind an unsolved crime that has haunted her for decades. It is finally time for Miss Hortense to solve a mystery that will see her and the community she loves tested to their limits. The first novel from a bold, brilliant new voice, A Murder for Miss Hortense introduces a fearless sleuth who readers will never forget. This next one really intrigues me, mainly because it was only added to my radar a couple months ago when Caroline Crampton, the host of She Done It podcast, the podcast I work for, recommended it to me and the rest of the book club because she read it on Christmas Day, loved it. I think she read it in like 48 hours, and unfortunately, I couldn't find it in the US, and now I know why, because it hadn't been published yet. The book is A Case of Mice and Murder, The Trials of Gabriel Ward. This is by Sally Smith. It comes out on the 17th of June through Bloomsbury, USA, Raven Books. And like I said, I am so excited for it. The synopsis says, the first in a delightful new mystery series set in the hidden heart of London's legal world, introducing a wonderfully unwilling sleuth, perfect for fans of Richard Osman and Nita Prose. While the mention of those two authors don't necessarily excite me, I'm sure a few of you have sat up in your chair a little bit and are listening a little bit more carefully. When barrister Gabriel Ward steps out of his rooms at exactly 2 minutes to 7 on a sunny May morning in 1901, his mind is so full of his latest case, the disputed authorship of best-selling children's book Millie the Temple Church Mouse, that he scarcely registers the body of the Lord Chief Justice of England on his doorstep. But even he cannot fail to notice the judge's dusty bare feet, in shocking contrast to his flawless evening dress, nor the silver carving knife sticking out of his chest. In the shaded courtyards and ancient buildings of the Inner Temple, the hidden heart of London's legal world, murder has spent centuries confined firmly to the casebooks until now. The police can enter the temple only by consent, so who better to investigate this tragic breach of law and order than a man who prizes both above all things? But murder doesn't answer to logic or reasoned argument, and Gabriel soon discovers that the temple's heavy oak doors are hiding more surprising secrets than he'd ever imagined. Honestly, I think this book is only second in anticipation to A Drop of Corruption, and that's only because I adored The Tainted Cup so much. Thus With a Kiss I Die by Christina Dodd. This one I'm taking a chance on, but it just sounds so intriguing. I'm also just realizing that it's book 2 of Daughter of Montague, so I might be in a situation where I really should have read book 1 first, but you know what? We're gonna go with it. We're filming. It's too late for me to go back. This comes out on the 24th of June out of Kensington Publishing, actually, which is quite intriguing to me because I am a partner with them and they often send me ARCs, so I don't remember if they're going to send me that one. But anyways, the delightfully irreverent eldest daughter of the not-so-ill-fated Romeo and Juliet returns to sleuth another day in Fair Verona in this hugely entertaining historical mystery series with a refreshingly bold premise. See, again, we're getting a character who is related to popular characters within classic lit, and I love that we're seeing that trend because more and more books are doing that. And finally, a newly highly anticipated book that I cannot wait to read is A Terribly Nasty Business by Julia Seals. This is the second book in the Beatrice Steele series, and it comes out on the 24th of June through Random House. I am so excited because this past month during Get a Clue Readathon, I ended up reading A Most Agreeable Murder. This was back when I was sick, and it was the only thing that was keeping me going, I'm not gonna lie. And I just had a good time. It might have been, right time, right place, right book, but I just found it to be really charming. It was a storyline that grew on me. I love the satire surrounding the kind of Jane Austen canon. This isn't a Jane Austen reimagining, but you can really see the inspiration that Julia Seals got from it. And the murder was fun. It was intricate, and I just found it to be a really delightful time, so I'm excited for this sequel. And those are the 20 most anticipated mysteries coming out the second quarter of 2025. Be sure to let me know in the comments which books you've added to your own TBR, whether they've been on there for months or it's thanks to me that they're even on your radar. Also, if you're not feeling chatty, which is totally understandable, then maybe in honor of Thus With a Kiss I Die, provide me with an emoji that you think is quite Shakespearean. So it could be maybe a royal emoji emoji, so a crown, maybe some swords, a glass of wine that could be poisoned. I don't know, get creative. And thank you all so much who are a part of the manor, whether you're sleuths, witnesses, suspects, or corpses. I really do appreciate you, and I hope that you are having the best time as we continue to solve the mystery that is the dead bodies all over the manor. I don't know, we'll figure it out. And if you're interested in finding out what new releases were on my radar for the first quarter of 2025, I'll be sure to have that video here because there's no time like the present to catch up on those. Thank you all so much. I hope to see you in the next one. Okay, bye everybody.